For some, Elon and Twitter has been a match made in hell. Many Tesla investors may believe that owning Twitter amplifies Tesla's political exposure. So this year, there's been a lot of back and forth with Elon announcing his plans to buy Twitter. Then other side saying, no, you can't buy Twitter. Elon wanting to back out, getting countersued to say you must buy Twitter. And finally, the deal completed last month on 28 October. Since then, there's been a lot of uncertainty and turmoil in Twitter. In this video, I'll speak with Boon Tee and Kelvin to hear, can Elon make Twitter successful? Click subscribe to stay updated to more videos on investing. As Tesla investors, what's your take on Elon buying Twitter? Instead of, say, just starting his own company, rather than paying $44 billion for Twitter.
I think 44 billions is very expensive, but then to create something from scratch and build it to the kind of monthly active user that Twitter has is very, very hard. So, to build Twitter's social network, you need all these network effects. And if he's going to replicate something that is very similar to Twitter's, it's hard to convince people from Twitter to move over. So I think that 44 billions, there's no better way to build it from scratch. It's very hard. So I do agree with Elon's to straight away acquire Twitter's and just transform Twitter to become something that he wants it to be.
Actually, I have the same view as Boon Tee. Twitter has the network effect. So effectively, we are buying all the users over. And to create it from scratch is very hard. Like if you see that Donald Trump, he created his own Twitter, right? It barely has any users. So by buying Twitter over is a smart move, because otherwise it would take Elon many years to achieve the same effect. So he took a quick shortcut and he has the money to do that. So I think it's very justified.
That's a fair point that Kelvin brought up. Donald Trump has his own social network in the US called Truth Social. Over there, he's got 4.4 million followers. On Twitter, he just got reinstated and he now has around 88 million followers. So 20 times the number of followers on Twitter compared to starting their own social network. And as Kelvin also mentioned, Elon is currently still the richest person on earth. And he sold about 5% of his Tesla stock to buy Twitter. That means he still has 95% of his Tesla holdings. He's still by far the largest individual owner of Tesla. But that also brings a lot of questions. Now that he's bought Twitter, this is actually a big change for Elon, because he was known as an entrepreneur who started many companies. He started SpaceX from scratch. When he invested in Tesla before taking over as CEO, it was still a very small company, a lot more manageable. Now, Twitter is a pretty decent sized company. When he first bought it, it was about 7,400 employees. Since then, 70% of employees are not there anymore. He's trying to enact a culture change to make it a hardcore engineering company. So all these people shifting out, moving out of Twitter right now, is this a good or bad thing for Twitter's future? How do you view it?
So if you check day in the life of a Twitter programmer, right, you see them relaxing. Today I'm drinking coffee, I work 1-2 hours, and then I go back and relax. So I think he's getting rid of all these people who are taking breaks all the time. Maybe you can say that he's not empathetic enough, and that he's making people lose jobs. But I think if you think in terms of the business, right, Twitter, he's saving costs, he's saving Twitter and he's saving his own pocket money because he's losing $4 million a day. And if you just by getting rid of 75%, I don't know, you will save a few $100 million a year. So that's a huge savings. And I think pain must be needed. You must have pain to create change within the company, because everyone is already hardwired to relax at Twitter. So everyone who is left remaining at Twitter either can't leave or they believe in Elon's mission. Either way, it will make Twitter a better company than before.
Yeah, I don't think he has a choice, because if we just look at how much cash that Twitter has, right, and how much cash burn they had in the past, that was when the advertiser is still around. And since Elon took over and made all the changes, some of them actually pissed off the advertisers. We know that, right? So advertisers already left. I don't know how many of them. So in order to really cut the cash burn, I think he don't have a choice. He really have to do that and just incur the short-term pain and do whatever changes that he think needs to be done. Yeah.
This sounds like a necessary short-term pain to help transform the company. Elon has shared before that his vision for Twitter is to become the town hall for most of humanity. When he first took it over, there's around 245 million monthly active users. He wants to try to get to at least a billion people. And he wants to increase the feature set, add more features like WeChat, so adding video, money sharing with creators, adding payments as well. What's your take on Elon's vision for Twitter?
Yeah, I think if you just want to understand his visions, right, I think he really disclosed it, and you can find it online on his transcript what he said to the Twitter employees. So like what you said, they want to improve the search, they want to improve the video, and then include the payment. I think all this, right, is the right direction to make more people joining Twitters. So I do believe on his vision. It's just a matter of time, like how long it takes to actually achieve those missions.
So like, I've not been a Twitter user for a very long time. I think I started using maybe because of Chicken Genius. I wanted to follow what he said on Twitter. So, and the reason I haven't used it for a very long time is because I find it a very noisy place. Like everyone is talking at the same time, and you need to follow the correct people to get the information that you need. Like for example, if I follow Daren, I will see his whatever toxic bull stuff that he talks about Twitter. So I think if Twitter can aggregate all this kind of information, right, you will see that okay, generally everyone is thinking in this direction. So it's, I don't know, it's a bit like the town hall thing that he mentioned, where people can vote on something. Like for example, the Donald Trump reinstate him, whatever. And the town hall thing includes like create the one identity login thing. So it can be your like SingPass, right? SingPass, but on Twitter instead. Then you can send payments to each other, like the whole PayPal. So he has experience with that already, and Twitter is similar to that also. So I'll be looking forward to what Elon can do with that.
Kelvin called that Elon started in PayPal. He founded a company, Zip2, and then he started becoming a company that was working with PayPal. And one of the things that Elon has said that the whole infrastructure for messaging or sending messages to each other on Twitter, the underlying infrastructure can also be used to send payments. We were talking a little about how the SWIFT system works as well, Boon Tee. Can you enlighten us more?
I think this one also I read it from somewhere. Just talking about like actually the SWIFT system, we thought that it is like kind of like a mechanism, some sort of very advanced mechanism between banks to transfer money. But actually what happened is that it is just an instruction. So what's in the instruction is just like an information or text, right, to be sent. So that's the infrastructure to deliver the message, and it's the same one used to sending monies. So they are the same thing basically.
That's pretty enlightening. Former Tesla employee Farzad Mesbahi, who has got a great YouTube channel covering Tesla and many related topics, he said recently that the world does not have a shortage for talent. It has a shortage of companies inspiring people to action. One of Elon's strengths is he's great at crafting out a vision and inspiring people. As a result of that, Tesla and SpaceX has been consistently rated as the top employers for graduate engineers. Do you see the same happening for Twitter over time?
Maybe, I don't know, just based on what Elon can achieve. Like he has this, he's ruthless but I think he can get things done. So if he can continue this trend like SpaceX, Neuralink, Tesla, Boring Company, then he could definitely do the same for Twitter too, because it's just another company, and I think he has a vision that is bigger than what most normal people can think about. Yeah.
So how I see Twitter before Elon took over and after, right, is like basically he transitioned Twitter from a corporate to a startup. So he basically redraw the visions and then what he want to prioritize, right? And from there, I think he's able to attract those people who have the same ambitions and same mindset with him to join him. And they don't really need like thousands of people, right? They only need a couple of thousands, maybe like 3, 4, 5,000 people just to make these things work. And he really focused on the engineering part of the company. So I think that's the right direction. So I trust his judgment.
Even with the right people in place, there is no guarantee for success for Twitter. There's been so much tensions recently. Advertisers have pulled out. There's a lot of uncertainty. Even governments are saying Elon may need to be investigated. His ties with different officials. And Elon has said that because they're still burning cash, there is a chance that Twitter may go bankrupt. Others may argue, no, they won't. Elon can sell more Tesla shares to fund Twitter. But that's another problem in itself. That's a different topic. I want to ask, what would Elon need to do to make Twitter successful?
I think first thing is stop creating so much mess in Twitter lah. Like advertisers pull out because they see this whole uncertainty with Twitter going on. So first, I think he has to get something workable out first, and not like Twitter Blue just chuck it out and be done. So if he can get a few things correct, then people will start to get confident in Twitter again lah. So maybe I would expect it to be out as soon as like within 1 month to 3 months. You'll see something other than the Twitter Blue lah. Maybe video uploading. To be honest, that part is not hard at all because the technology exists somewhere else on YouTube. They can just copy paste over the whole thing and it's there already. So I would expect things to be run very fast in Twitter also. Like okay, for example, for YouTube, to even see some spam algorithm fighting thing, right? I've waited for 1 year and it's already here. But since Twitter is run as a startup, it's run like a startup, I would expect things to go much faster in Twitter. So like all this payment, all this video thing, I would expect within one year to see all this kind of thing.
So I agree with you on the startup things. So what happened with startup is that you're not going to see things move very slowly, but in a safe manner. But it's more like keep on trying, and if there's any error, just do a corrections on where they are heading. So I think they will continue to do that, and I have the confidence he'll make it succeed. But back to your questions on like what he needs to do, right? I think he already have Elon know what to do. So basically just talking about copying WeChat. So he mentioned this a couple of times. I think he will just execute like making Twitter become more and more like WeChat, which is like what they say, just figuring out what works and just do it, right? So I think I have confidence that it will be a successful venture.
In a short term, Elon has shared that their monthly active users, the daily active users for Twitter, is actually rising. It's at an all-time high. The server loads are very high. Some critics may say that this is short-term seasonality because of midterm elections in the US, because of World Cup that's happening, or just because of all the recent news that Elon bought Twitter. To show that it can actually sustain the growth in daily active users will be key for them to realize Elon's vision of becoming the world's town hall. And with all the headcount reductions happening in Twitter already, they've also recently started reaching out to hire more people. So Twitter's recruiters have been reaching out to candidates saying, this is Twitter 2.0. You want to join an Elon company? All those changes will take time to materialize. I think it's going to be 2 to 3 years of really tough work. Twitter's version of production hell. Elon is no stranger to pain. Many years ago, when he first founded SpaceX and Tesla, people accused him of being an internet entrepreneur trying to build cars and rockets. Today, many of these same people are accusing him of being a car and rocket entrepreneur trying to build a successful internet company. He's already disrupted the car and space industries. If Twitter does become successful, it's still around in 5 years from now, more people are using it. How do you think this will disrupt the internet industry?
I can't tell how it will disrupt the internet space or whatever, but I can tell as a user, because right now I am Twitter user, but I think there's a lot of potential on how to make it become much more useful. How am I using with Twitter, right? It's basically use it to consume contents, tweets from others, could be news, and I also use Twitter to reach out to more people. And if he can add a lot more all these features, useful features for me to connect with more people and make it become more like a seamless experience, that's a plus for me. And I'm talking about this from a user perspective. Okay.
Everything he said. I think I just want to add on, like for Elon Musk, he doesn't think like a normal person. So whatever you said was just all the normal stuff. But if you think one step above, if he can integrate with his Tesla or whatever, he has this AI thing, right? So if Twitter, he can train it with his AI bots, then it will be a normal human already, this kind of Twitter thing. So I think that might be the ultimate form of Twitter. I don't know. So in So in the secondary form, it will be what Boon Tee said, a normal town hall where you can use it to pay people, chat with people, consume news and whatever. And on a higher level, it will be used to train robots. So that's my thought.
I agree. When we step back, I believe that many of Elon's companies are connected together. Twitter has about 250 million active users right now. We know that Tesla has been working on Tesla bot. They're trying to build computer vision. They've got Dojo supercomputers to train AI systems. What Twitter is, 250 million people, is a way to feed data, like how today 3 million Tesla vehicles are feeding autopilot and full self-driving to make it better. With 250 million people, to train a model to understand human cognition, logical thinking, and human emotions, could one day then feed into the brains of a tool like Tesla bot. All of Elon's companies are about scale, scaling active users in Twitter, scaling car production in Tesla, scaling starships on SpaceX to make humanity a multiplanetary species. One day, if the Tesla bot could be a useful companion, a friend with high empathy who brings out the best in you, would someone be willing to pay $10, $100 a month for that service? I think that'll be immensely valuable to the world, not just for labor, but to nurture our companionship needs, to nurture our own growth as people as well. That to me would be my broader vision of success of Twitter being one of Musk's industries, one of Musk's many companies. This is going to be a very crazy journey. Many Tesla investors in the short term, they feel the pain. Some feel very upset. Some wish that Elon could focus more on Tesla, especially in this trying time. So one last question for both of you. How do you feel about Elon's involvement in Twitter as a Tesla shareholder?
I do agree with what Kelvin said in one of his video. I think this is an opportunity to make the Tesla share price much cheaper. So I think for those who are really bullish on the company, this is a test for you whether you are taking this opportunity to buy, or are you going to be one of the people who just paper hand and sell the shares, right? So that's my take.
My take is that like people think that for Tesla to be successful, Elon Musk need to be around. But if you check the China Gigafactory, Elon wasn't even around in the factory, right? And that factory produced more cars than before. So it just proves that Elon doesn't need to be with Tesla for Tesla to do well. Tesla is already on this runway that Elon has set up many years earlier. So the next thing for Elon to do is definitely to move on to make another great company and possibly benefit all of us in return. Yeah.
Thank you, Boon Tee and Kelvin. In today's market environment, because of a recession, because of a bear market, this may also cloud our perspective or influence our perspective on how we view Elon's work with Twitter. If we step back in the long term and really look at Elon as a person, he's been very consistent in he wants to work hard, make humanity a little bit better. I think what he's doing here, is it a net positive for society over time? I think that's a question for us to consider, and not just our financial interests, which are important, but that's not what Elon cares about. So let us know what you think about Elon's chance of making Twitter successful. Let us know how you feel right now. If you found this video useful, please click the like button. You'll find a link to Boon Tee and Kelvin's YouTube channels. We're all backholders together, so they've also got a backholder pod also. You'll find a link to that down below, where they talk about a variety of topics. Click subscribe to stay updated to more videos on investing.